Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is Cee, certified brewhead.
And I am Tiffany, liquid enthusiast.
And welcome to episode 27 of Beer Nuts, the podcast. Not adjunct series.
Wrong
That's
series.
my habit. Link up series. God damn it, I'll get it right one of these days. Hey, Tiff.
Hi. Episode
27.
Oh, you did say it. Okay.
Episode 27, so I got that right.
Yeah, okay.
And this is series 5 that we're in. It's been a series.
It has been awesome. Like, absolutely fantastic across the board. Beautiful way to enter summer.
Yeah, and it's been like a really interesting series of pods specifically as well. Typically, we hadn't positioned these pods as maybe just like a sharing of lessons. I think we might have, but not as deliberately now. I feel like we're sort of like really trying to ask those questions to find out what the different breweries have done besides Link Up that worked and didn't work, and trying to share those lessons. So, you know, if you're listening or watching and you're in the industry, the idea is that, you know, hopefully you take something out of this from what these legendary breweries have done and, you know, that worked for their communities and what didn't, and, you know, maybe inspire you and get it going.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think it's naturally just progressed into that. And that's
has,
cool. Yeah.
I kind of like it better. And I like that we also, typically we're talking about just about diversity within those activities, but I like kind of expanding it beyond into like other community or social focused, you know, things that they've done, because it's still the same ethos behind it. You're trying to make the community better and trying to make, you know, reflect what you want to see in the community.
Expand the industry.
Yes.
Make sure that it feels inclusive, so that's for everybody in the end.
Yes, and that's the only way to make beer bigger and better, is to make everybody
already better. But it's already better.
It's already better.
I mean, better than the others. Better than the other industry. The standard.
The macro industry. Oh yeah. Well,
so it's definitely better in quality.
Well, we know about that.
Yeah, we just need better,
you know,
more people.
Yes, more people, more buddies, more ideas, and more creativity.
Yeah.
So, with that said, please welcome a community. This dude is a legend. Everyone loves this guy. We only met very recently, actually, to go say hi in person. Wasn't supposed to stay long. Put like an hour on the car. End up being there for 4 hours. So, you know,
so
this might be a long one, folks.
That's why you know it's a good time.
And you know it's a good time. So please welcome Aaron Spinney of Merit in the building.
Hi.
You champion.
Hey.
You gorgeous man.
Oh man, our pleasure.
Our pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you for hanging out, taking the time, being involved, and being attractive. Appreciate you.
All of these are super important.
I don't know. My barber would have something to say about that, I feel, but that's another topic.
we can. That's for the long podcast. We'll keep this.
I'm sorry right now for this two-face of light. I feel like I've got like a powdered half my face, but the sun is setting and it's still worst negative shows. I'm sorry.
You've got that nice, that magic hour. When the sun goes down, that's the magic hour. You know,
as our good friend Kanye said. So we're gonna start off, of course, as we always do. We're gonna crack the Merit Link Up beer. Look at this gorgeous. Oh, is it gonna do it? It did it. I feel like we got a little bit too much light going on.
Yeah, you can put it in front of your face too.
Put it on my face?
In front of your face, yeah.
Like
camera. The makeup.
There we go.
There
you know
go.
the vibes.
Yeah, there you go.
So, yes, look at
it. Actually, the can is shining, so that the sun's working really well right now.
So, you guys...
There you go.
Exactly. You legends did a glorious IPA with Mandarina Bavaria, Citra and Strata hops. And whilst we are all pouring it, would you like to... I'm going to get the camera up. Annoyingly behind the computer, smart guy I am. Would you like to just let us know? Talk to us about the beer, man. Like what was the inspiration? What were you trying to do with it? Let's go through it all.
Strata hops are something that's a little bit newer in the industry. I guess maybe like 4 or 5 years old now. I guess proprietary to Crosby Hops out west in the States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's one of their like few brands that they own, and proprietary hops have really become like a big thing in the game, I guess, if you will. It is what it is, but it's a nice hop, and we went with Mandarina Bavaria and Citra, as you said. I hope is that what you said?
Yes.
Eventually, if you make too many IPAs, it just turns into like different salads. You know, you're like, oh, I put romaine in this one, but that was iceberg. This was Boston, you know. It's just, you forget. However, Strata, Citra, and Mandarina Bavaria. Sorry, I'm having a hard time saying that. You're going to get a nice like citrus, melon, kind of orange, heavier like orange citrus than anything, but like a nice melon character coming off the Strata, cantaloupe, kind of honeydew. Playful. It's playful.
Ooh, playful. I like
Yeah,
that.
I really like that.
Yeah.
That's what IPAs need to be.
Yeah.
We got that pick?
Yeah.
All right.
And
Yes.
they're very, very low bitterness. Oats and barley just as the base. Really heavy on the adjunct oats just to create that haze. And yeah, nice like foamy white head kind of sits on top. Doesn't really drop. That's like the higher adjuncted oat character, and then
Oh, cool.
you just dry hop.
I love it.
Well, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It's super. I never really thought about it, and I don't think anyone's ever said it on however many 100 episodes we've done. That's fascinating.
What's that?
The oats are the ones that sort of contribute the most to the head.
Oh yeah. Well, like you got to think like anything that's going to have like more flowery kind of content to it that'll create the haze in the beer.
Right.
But like, oats are also oily, so if you go too heavy, then it's going to drop out too. So it's this fine balance. But with hazy beers, there's kind of an equation that we've landed on that we're happy with.
I love it.
Nice.
This is hella aromatic too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting
I
all
haven't
of those.
had it
flavors.
in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited.
Yes, and we had it on tap at the brewery, which was like I think we
awesome.
said in other episodes, it was out of the ordinary for this series, but we weren't here for the regular drops. But it was kind of cool because we got to try a bunch of them like on premise, which we'd never done before for the most
Yeah, it's
part.
very
ever.
cool. Yeah.
At least beforehand, so it's kind of good now. Like it's more fun, I think, now to have it done that way, and then also
Yeah, we're getting it two
have it in
different
the
ways.
can.
Yeah.
So with that, bro, cheers. Get
Cheers.
that in you.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheers, Tiff. Cheers, Barrington, on the floor there.
Oh, happy birthday, by the way.
Oh,
Belated.
look at that bear.
Yeah.
Uncle Aaron said happy birthday.
He's TKO, but
He's out. He's out. I'll tell him later.
it was great.
I got Donnie on the right side here, so
Oh, cute.
we're having a
Gee.
dog episode.
I
Look
love
at
it.
that.
I love it.
Okay, when we do the proper one, it's going to be a dog fest, dog extravaganza.
We'll probably hear him growl or bark at some point. He has bad dreams.
I love the.
I love the
dreams.
dreams. They're hilarious. Because I'm
They're
like,
so
what are you
fun.
actually like doing? It's so funny. Like
What are you
running. He'll be
dreaming
like
about?
jogging, running, and I'm like, are you just like dreaming you're on a walk? That's your
Yeah,
life. Like
moving
you're
their
just like.
legs and-
I like to think that Donnie's just dreaming of different cheese that we fed him.
Nice.
It's highly probable.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of life
We could
experience
probably
to
have
draw
a whole episode of just dog. We could just talk
I
about
love
dogs
it.
for 4
Here for
hours.
it.
I would
Here
say
for
the
it.
vast majority of the audience would be down.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would really reject. Dude, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
so
it's been a
good.
few weeks since we've had it as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to save
Appreciate
at least the can to have with you as well, so we didn't have it since we did the pod. We hung out. Sorry, I wanted to have it here, but yeah, it's super bright, and the all of the aromatics come through in the flavor too, like the melon. The melon's really strong in this,
Yeah.
which is great. A little bit of citrus pith. General sort of. Is there mango or am I tripping out?
Yeah, no, I get some mango for sure.
It's probably not as
sounds
dominant
like-
as the other two.
Yeah, that like kind of balances out that background tone with that melon. You're getting that mango pininess towards the end, but not a bitter pine like you would West Coast, like that sweet pine, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You know what? I never really thought that there would be different pines. I never thought about that. That makes
Oh
sense.
yeah, oh,
Yeah.
that's a whole other episode too. We could do 4.
Oh,
we
right.
could do 4 hours on that one.
We have to do a series.
Yeah.
I like this style too because going above 6%, 6 to like 7.5% really helps carry those fruity flavors and aromas. Not only
6-2.
like
Yes.
for freshness, but like you want a little bit of alcohol to help prolong that flavor in the can too.
Yeah.
Need something
cool.
to hold on to.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm.
It's awesome. It's delicious.
Yeah, this is
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Once I got the yeast in there, it hazed up even more. So we got smaller glasses. We had to take a few sips to fit it all. But yeah, this is money, dude. And once again, like kind of what Tiff was saying before, like it's perfect. This is a perfect summer. Like you were saying, the series was perfect leading
Yeah.
into summer, and I feel like the beer choices across the board really sort of were perfect for that. And then this is the second to last week, so it's like May. Perfect, like nice, juicy, crushable, approachable
Yeah.
IPA leading right into it. It just feels bright and exactly what We need it, bro.
Yeah.
Great choice. Why did you choose this particular style, by the way?
Oh, I think like this time of year, or sorry, like a month ago now or so, that time of year is like a weird transition where people are just emerging from underneath their blankets to, tulips not quite blooming yet, and we're not really ready for wheat beers and sours and light lagers, but this is kind of that in between spring sweater, Some of them
Yeah.
It's something with a zipper, so if you get too hot, you can take it off at the park. But I
I
think
love it.
it's a nice balance, not too heavy in body, but still has something to cling to. And then, regardless of time of year, I think hops are appropriate all year round. So I think that nice fruitiness and, like I said earlier, playful character is just very welcoming. And that's what I think what this recipe should have been, is welcoming. And that's it. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
That's the whole point. I love that.
Yeah. I love it. Great explanation, dude. I love
Yeah.
that. It's perfect. The art as well, on that note, the can art. Did you have much insight or input into that, or did you sort of leave that up to design? Like, how did that go down?
Yeah, it's usually our design guy, Justin, in-house. He does all our labels, trying to create connectivity throughout all our brands, but obviously taking this one and elevating it to not like we recognize the. I told you.
There he is. Hey, Donnie.
Oh, he's having a real dream. Oh.
You were sleeping. No. Oh, there's fire. There's fireworks going off here. I see. Still
Still on Tuesday. Not too far. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it's okay.
He's all right. Barrington doesn't really do that, so we hadn't really. I always forget that dogs
react to the fireworks.
Yeah. Poor thing.
He's not too reactive, but with sound, he's always just like.
Yeah.
Hey.
He's like, keep it down. He's basically like, keep it down.
He's like, Dad, chill.
Yeah.
You're not talking. He's like, you're not talking to me. I don't care.
I can't see nobody else here.
It's okay. You're safe,
guys.
It's
a dog episode. He's safe.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. Hold on.
You're good, man. You're good.
Yeah, you're good for sure.
There he is. Poor little fella.
Okay.
See, I think a lot of people watching and have dogs too. I imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like dogs are super. Everyone knows what it's all about.
You calm down.
I love one meeting I always have with Brianna. So one of our clients, and like her dog is it's like doesn't feel right if her dog's not snoring in the background. Like it just doesn't feel, and it's just like the very loud, powerful snore. It's awesome. But it adds character to the meetings. Meetings are generally boring, and then it's just like, oh, there you go. Like what's happening back there?
Donnie Sapp's coworker at left field. They just, if they don't see him in a meeting, then it's not a real meeting. I guess.
See, there you go. See, I love it. No, I love it. But sorry, the links.
Label.
Yeah.
The links on the label.
Yeah,
Yes.
I apologize. I think we wanted to show respect to all the other labels and like kind of connect it all. However, make sure that it was still like connected to our own brand as well. Using kind of what was nice is I think like the link up colors and the merit colors are pretty similar, and that made it a little easier as well. But I think our big focus is more like font based labels.
Yes.
I know that's kind of more of a trendy thing, but it's nice doing it in house and having fun with it too. And
yeah.
Just all we usually leave most of that up to our creative guy now for label stuff. We used to him and haw about it for hours and days and sometimes weeks on what to call a beer and what to do with this label and all that. And eventually you got to find someone to help you out, So
yeah, for sure.
It makes much more sense. So I actually kind of realized when I was showing it to the camera, I didn't describe it for those listening on audio. So it's the link up yellow color with black writing, the link up on there with next to the merit logo and the
cool
link up
typography.
Logo. Really cool typography. And a whole bunch of circles, like Venn diagrams, joining up a whole bunch of them, and like just horizontally. And there's 8 different other circles that are like colored. So there's like a green, like a forest green, and like a brighter green, and a blue, and a pink. Are these colors, these solid colors, on your other labels? Because I feel like I might recognize some of these. Or are these kind of random colors?
I think they like kind of fit in that tone, but I'm not too sure. I'll have to get back to you on that one, I guess.
No problem. Do you know why? Because I was looking at the Young Rival can, and it feel like it looks like it might be the third, that sort of tealish looking one, maybe.
Yeah,
actually, it's kind of
yeah.
more blue, actually.
But it does actually go. I'm looking at a photo of the
white
cans
IPA.
like this too.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm
and
saying.
it does feel like a really cool
Shannon,
fit.
like this one, the orange kind of looks like that a little bit.
And the colors even on those sauces. Oh, I need to buy that.
Oh, the sauce. Yeah,
I need to get
go.
the mayo, the curry mayo. Sorry, I
Oh,
digress.
yeah.
But,
I owe you one.
I saw you're selling them in like new bottles and stuff,
That's
so
beautiful.
that's what I wanted.
Yeah, we just did a full rebrand on our shareable line as well. Yeah,
so cool.
It kind of gives me link up kind of this label kind of gives me like 1970s basement pillow.
Respect.
I like
That's
it.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's 100% that, but it just works. And this is once again why we don't interfere with this site, because like you said, you wanted it to be like merit branding, and that's why we don't work with you on that. We just let you do your thing because it has to be, otherwise it's not the way we designed the collaboration.
It's cool to see all the different labels coming out. I really when we first started looking at it, it was really cool to see the creativity on the can. I think it was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like you get everyone's own or like interpretation, which I love. It's like you're just giving people something. It's like you're just saying like, go draw a tree, and it's everyone's version of what that tree looks like or something. It's very, very cool. And we're always surprised because we don't see it, we don't approve it or anything like that. We just get to see it when it comes up.
I think you might have sent it to me beforehand, and some breweries do, but we never ask for it, and it's always like, welcome if you do, but it's also kind of equally as fun if like when we get tagged in the collab post on Instagram, we're like, oh shit, like this is what it looks like, sick. And more times we used to always try the beer with the in the interview. This time we didn't do it, and that's okay. It's been kind of fun doing it this way, but yeah, it's really cool.
To try it first.
Try the beer the very first time on the pod. But
it could have been terrible, and then you'd have to like lie about it the whole time.
It'd be very awkward.
Fortunately,
but it's never happened.
I'm genuinely no bullshit. It's never happened on Link Up, and I don't really recall that happening much on the pod either. Fortunately, I think we're pretty selective with. Not selective. That sounds. We have breweries on that I know we're going to enjoy, and everything has its kind of merit, but it's.
Well done.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
So anyway, so no, my acting skills are poor, so
his acting skills are really bad, and I'll tell you his tell later. So
you can
but,
tell me.
I want to know for the future.
Yeah. But I think that's the one benefit too, or many of the benefits. It's like everyone we've worked with so far is someone we've loved and already known. So it's like we've already known we love the beer, and we already know it would be great for someone trying it for the first time. Like we know that's what they're gonna get. So
that's really cool. I really appreciate that. Like I know that, like, we do a lot, or anyone can do a lot of like charitable things and stuff, but for you guys to reach out and for you to ask, like, I know we just met, but I think I really appreciate it. I truly, it melts my heart. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You guys were like, from the beginning, we already were fan. Like we told you when we hung out, like, we've been coming to Hamilton because of Merit, essentially, since we first started coming to Hamilton, aside from Liquid Arts as well. So we would always come on the way back from Niagara. So we're already just big fans of everything you guys are doing, and we knew based on our visits to the brewery and your social presence, which we'll get into, that this would be a perfect fit. So it's awesome, dude, and it's extra cool for us because it's the first Hamilton brewery since we've lived here that's been involved in Link Up, and you helped us more than you realize. When we were talking before we moved here, and you gave me a list of stuff. Our vet is the vet you told me about.
Yeah, that's true.
The barbershop you told me about
is
my
barber?
barbershop. Is my barber. A bunch of things that you told me.
You told us to go to Bayfront Park, and it's a place we walk all the time now.
Yeah, because we talked about that, because I posted the story. You were like,
should be doing a travel or some type of tourism section of your life.
I know, right? I was hanging out with a buddy on the weekend, too, who's been here for maybe 2 years, and was like, why do you know that? I was like, I don't know. Just went and did it. Drove around and stopped at places and said hello.
You
Yeah,
were
that's really
busting
cool. Awesome.
history out on us.
Yeah,
though,
you got
bro.
facts.
You were busting history. We've talked about that like 3 times.
I love it. I love it.
Like,
I
yeah,
love
how
it.
How does he know this stuff? This is crazy. So
Yeah, I asked myself that all the time. Why the fuck are you talking about this?
No,
Like-
they're very welcome facts. They're very welcome, and I love it because it's also helped us. Like we went and impressed. I feel like even my mom and stuff. They were kind of like, oh Hamilton, Toronto people. They were kind of like, oh Hamilton, sure.
Yeah.
But I brought like her and my cousin to. We brought them to the Bayfront. Was it yesterday or the day before? Sunday.
Oh.
And it was like
Sunday.
stacked too because it was like
nice day.
yeah, really
24
nice
degrees
day,
or
and
whatever.
it's the long weekend. But they were like, oh wow, all right, okay, I'm kind of turning over now to Hamilton, and I'm like, all right, see, and literally we didn't have anything else to show them before. I went to Tiffany's Falls, and it took 5 seconds, so
Just
we
text
didn't
me.
realize.
Just text me. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you into the falls. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
We thought it'd be way
that's so
longer.
cool. I'm glad.
It was a 5-minute walk. We thought it'd be like
Yeah, it's weird.
an
Some of them are you gotta like walk for an hour and you just see a little stream and you're like, wow, that was cool. And then sometimes you park and you're like, oh shit, it's right there, like
Yeah.
right here. But a lot of it's just based off of runoff from the escarpment, right? So some of it's seasonal, and then most of it's like unfortunately man-made from like diverting water because water's got to go somewhere, But,
yeah.
some of them,
Monstrous,
some of them are very close, and it's like, oh, all right, I just paid for parking, cool.
Thank you. I didn't want to bring it up,
$11.
but we were like $11. We're like, well, we'll be out there for like 2 hours, so it's gonna be like such a long
was
thing.
15
So the
minutes,
$11 is worth it.
Well,
And then we got here, we're like, really?
I
But
We
it's fine.
invested in the Hamilton.
and then
Parks.
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta wait 20 minutes to get a parking spot, but that's why, because it's only a 5-minute walk. If you look into it, well,
It's so
I'll text you about it. But there, you can join a membership for like $120 for the Hamilton Conservation Authority, and it gets you everything for free. So if you go to
Okay.
more than 10 or 12 spots, it's worth it.
Okay,
Interesting.
that's good to know.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
We'll talk from the tourism office employee right there. I love
you're
it.
definitely doing an arm of the.
I didn't know
Hamilton.
I didn't know we had the same vet. Then that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they're awesome. Barry's going for his 1-year checkup next week, so
and you
we're
were right.
loving
You were
it,
like,
yeah.
oh, it might be hard to get in, and it was hard to get in.
Yeah, we had to do
go to another
some.
place
I had to
first.
be creative to get in the end, but
worked
made
out.
it happen, and it's great.
Did the doctor like sit on the floor and meet the pup when you got there?
He did not.
No, but he was really nice.
They were
Yeah,
nice,
okay.
and they
Yeah,
weren't,
really sweet.
pushes. Like we felt the other vet were just like pushing
Pushing a lot of stuff
just
on
stuff
us.
on them and trying to sell their brand of food that's out the front that we researched and found that they had a lot
They had
of
like such
problems
a crappy review and stuff. So yeah,
And what's I don't know. Have you used the online service yet? You can
it's
just
incredible.
so
It is
many times.
incredible, and they're everywhere.
Yeah, it's a cool like chain, right? And then if
Yeah.
you send a photo to the person you were talking online, the doctor will get it in the morning.
We did
Oh,
that
yeah.
multiple times.
But that's probably why it makes sense because they
Give us
follow up.
photos. Oh, it's the
No,
No,
best.
it's amazing. They follow
And
up
we
the
were-
next day. Like
Yeah.
I literally, they get text
Yeah.
messages being like,
Hey,
"Hey,
how
how's
was it?"
Barrington? Is he okay now?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
And we
like,
saw
wow.
that same vet in Miami. So we were like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So we saw that same
Isn't
chain.
that
Like,
cool?
yeah.
I love when other people refer to your dog's name, and you're like, oh god.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh,
Wow,
you
you
can't.
know him, you remember him?
I would love a doctor like that in my own life. In
Like
my
a human
life, I
doctor.
would love that treatment.
Now what's my name?
I know,
And then-
seriously. Yeah, I don't know.
Uh,
Sorry.
Whatever.
You're just a number
not
here.
You're not fluffy enough.
Yeah, exactly.
See, we can come back to the dog talk, but it's okay. All right, 23
Yeah,
minutes
yeah,
in.
sorry.
Let's talk about what we're supposed
Okay,
to talk about.
it's fine.
See, we warned you in the beginning that we were going to be yapping. What was the main question I have to ask? Okay, link up mission. Obviously, if anyone has been to Merit and seen the menu, seen the staff, seen the ownership, they're going to know. Well, this is a diverse brewery who cares about the community at large and is very well represented all different cultures. Now, the answer is probably pretty obvious, but in what I just said, but initially, when I came to you about Link Up, what was it that sort of appealed about getting involved in something like this?
I think the idea is like first and foremost believing what you're doing and connecting everything together and kind of pushing it forward, and not only like letting people know that this is available, but like this is a unique industry that needs help, I think. And we all can recognize, or I hope at this point can recognize that I don't know, we could all do more, and we could all learn as much as we can, and don't stop learning, right? So I think this was a fantastic opportunity to join in on a really cool collaboration with a lot of cool breweries and some fantastic people that believe in the just being better.
Oh yeah, and it's obviously, like I was saying, this is ingrained in your brewery in a way that, as Tiff was saying to you sort of off air, we have referred to you guys as somewhat of the gold standard of sort of how a brewery should sort
That's
of
a fact, though. We
tackle diversity in the beer industry. I mean, like, just to describe it, that without you having to say it, obviously you have your partner in the business, Tej, is of Indian origin. One of your other main is he Alex a head brewer, or just that'd be you probably, but is he sort of like one of the main brewers, right? Is you and Alex? Is that correct?
Yeah, Alex is my right hand person. He's just fantastic. Yeah, he's Jamaican.
Love that.
Represent,
of course. I would say all the staff is sort of a mix of everything. Every time I come in there, I feel like I'm seeing a bit of everything. And then, so you already look, and if you are not a Caucasian man with a beard, which is the typical customer of a craft beer, you're going to walk in and be like, oh, all right. I'm seeing a bit of everyone in here. And then you look at the menu, for example, not even just the beer.
Yeah.
But you look at the food menu. You guys have a German-style beer hall with a whole bunch of... I feel like calling them sausages dilutes the value of what the product is. But it's, these, elevated... Like, it's like bratwurst or something, would you call it?
No.
The dishes?
No, it's I would call it sausage.
Okay.
Also, that might be... Maybe we could do a food collab on a sausage link.
Yo!
Now that would be really dope.
Is fucking
Yeah.
sick.
Right? We could run it for like a whole month or something like that. Yeah, sorry. Their sausage.
Links,
Their sausages.
Let's talk about that.
We need to talk about that. That's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
That'd be really cool, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So no, they're sausages. There's no beating around the bush on that one. I think some of us get more offended when you call it a hot dog, but I mean, fuck, it's all.
That ain't a hot dog, though.
It's all a link. A hot dog is a sausage. It's just ground a little bit more, and just as you eat it on weekdays.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
But they're just really like, the jerk chicken one, the Korean one that we had when we were hanging out.
Amazing. Always a dope Indian one available.
I just feel like there's just like all different cultures' food is represented in there, and they pair so well with the beers, obviously. You've got Shannon, one of the white IPA with a bunch of Indian spices. I think it's coriander and a few other things in there. Like, it's really well represented in the brewery. So like... Yeah.
And in the beers.
And
in the beers and the food. Because we had
beers, food stuff.
One of the times that we came, when we were looking to move to Hamilton and we did like our recon trip. Yeah, we visited and you guys had that's when I was like, we need to have them be a part of Link Up. I remember I was like, this needs to happen.
That was the
now.
jerk chicken one.
Yeah,
right?
we already had it in our mind. It was like there was the beer that was the beer was like the Jamaican phrase, which is like I'm here. It's Medea. Yeah. So I think that must have been there at that time, and then there was some type of jerk sausage something happening too. So I was just like, what's happening? They have a Jamaican here. And then I like went over and like went into your Instagram and saw it, and I was like, oh, this is.
And that was I remember that moment. And that's what we were like, all right, well, this is our like closest brewery, and it's also represents all the things that we truly care about.
Such a funny story. I think we did tell you though that when we were looking for places to live, we used Merritt's address. Did we tell you that? That we used Merritt's address, and they were like anything within a 10-minute thing, and that's how we gave it to our real estate agent. We were just like, we put it in, and they were like, okay, cool. We're like, okay, so this seems like this area.
No way.
But it's funny though, because some 10 minutes can be like technically too far out. So then we started understanding, but we were like, we want to be so that you can easily just get there, because that felt like a place to also just be in general. That's just so funny. I was just thinking about that because that was how our real estate shared note with
And
our agent was.
it's not like Toronto or Montreal. You know, you 10 minutes here is 10 minutes, or sometimes
Exactly.
even 8, depending on how fast
Exactly.
you're
Hey,
going.
yeah, that's.
Or if you
I'm
catch
sure a
the lights
7.
down Main.
You got to get the merit. You got to take the cannon, and you're just there in 8 minutes. It's
There you
fine.
go.
You know,
Done.
no one's judging.
Yeah,
Nope.
there you go. No one's judging.
Portion that to 90.
But like
you know, when you get all the green lights on Main Street, there's like
That's a good-
There's no better
then you're
feeling.
there in 8 minutes.
I love that exists
It's
though.
so fire.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
very cool.
Hamilton man's one.
I call it the Main Street Greens.
Ooh, all
that's a
right.
good beer name.
That's something to consider. That's a good beer name.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that. That's funny.
Sweet greens. Okay. we'll
Yeah.
talk. So,
but
okay.
yeah, that's one of
I
the
know where we're
things
going
that we
with
were
this.
just like an example. It was a great
That's what we're
example
talking about.
that when
Thank
you do have diverse staff, because that was me actually going to Instagram and being like, there's a Jamaican somewhere inside of these walls here. Like, I need to go understand.
At that time, I don't even know if we'd connected yet.
No.
I think we knew of each other, and I've heard of you from so many different people. Obviously, we talked about your friend Jen Nad, who was the brewer at Judicial, who we'd had on the pod, and like, you know, and so many different people had told me personally about you. So I almost felt like we knew each other, but we really only met like 2 weeks ago in person.
Yeah, it was like this much of separation throughout
The whole
years and years, right?
years,
Yeah.
like many years. Seriously, though, like 3, 4, 5 years type thing. So we already knew that. So I guess I don't know if you could speak to. I know that was kind of super tangential, and long-winded, but
Wow.
you know, just you like that word?
Good word.
That was a good.
Yeah,
word.
good word.
I ruined it. But, you know. I don't know if you could speak to just sort of why you guys have done certain things, and just sort of explain, like, if people hear that and they're like, oh, okay, well, you guys are doing all these things, like, you know, why do you do these things? Why do you have a diverse menu and diverse staff and things like that?
Yeah.
Like, where does that come from?
That's that's the way you should be. I don't know.
That's a simple way.
Yeah, that's love. We never forced it, you know, and we never do, and I don't think that should ever be the case. And anyone that's hoping for something to come along, and you know, you can see the fake. We feel it. You know, everyone feels when it's not true. I don't think, and I don't know. Talent finds talent, and it doesn't matter who you are as long as you're good at what you do. I don't know. That's a tough question.
We can
If
keep
you're,
it less broad.
Well, we could even look at, say, Medea, for example. Like, how does that come to life? Like, how does that come to be?
Yeah.
Like, what conversation? Because I am actually curious. Like, because I guess there's also some form of like, hey, it's collaborative. We're all coming up with ideas. But like, yeah, how does that come to fruition?
Yeah,
And how does that jerk sausage come in? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to answer everything at once here. I think.
Yeah.
You know, with Medea, it was recognizing that you know, we have a very small team. We all work very closely together, and the last thing that I would want as a brewmaster or a head brewer is for it to be the Aaron Spinney show. You know, that's not what it's about. I want to learn as much as the next person, and I want to learn from the person next to me. And I hope that I can teach some people. If I can do that, that's fantastic. But it should never be about one person, because that's how you burn out, and that's how, you know, you kind of fade away as well. And hiring people around you and elevating their talents is one of the most important things. You know, it's the reason kind of why like bands exist, I guess, you know, and we learn from each other. For me, culinary is very important, and culinary is a very interesting and like easy way to learn about other cultures.
Yeah.
I think it's a very accessible way and appreciative way as well. And recognizing that maybe in other jobs prior to this one, the opportunities weren't there to showcase those ideas. And with, again, like a small team with essentially me just making up the schedule as I go along, and I've been doing that for 6 years now, and it was a pain in the butt in the beginning, and now, you know, we have seasonal beers, we have things that we have to get done, but there's a lot of room to play with as a brew pub, and we want that brew pub to not only be like a room of welcoming feelings, but we want that brew pub to be a stage for us to educate and to perform and to teach as well. And there's no one above anyone. So I think, to absorb someone else's information and to learn from other people is natural and easy. Medea came from Alex, our brewer's upbringing, and a Jamaican family eating this coconut cake. It's simple cake with, simple syrup, sugar, ginger, and coconut. He explained like his connectivity with it and how it still is at every family function, and his aunt makes him one just for himself because it's so special to him and he loves it. And he definitely has a major sweet tooth, which I love that. Like, I'm more of a savory person, so we connect well together, because it'd be like, who eats the drumstick, who eats the wing, I think it works well together.
Team Savory, by the way, Team Savory.
Yeah,
and he's Team Sweet. Yeah. He's Team Sweet.
And when we went with he was him and Han about a name, and he wanted to make sure it was respectful to his mom and to the culture and everything like that. And him and Han about the name for a long time, and we all really loved Medea as like a call and answer of like how you doing, making sure that everyone's present and everyone feels good about what they're doing. That you're here, you are here. What was really cool too is we were already working with another local company called the Patty Shack. Our good friend Michael and his family make some of the most beautiful Jamaican patties you can find around here. And his mom was making the spice for us, so it was already like this whole thing kind of working. And then Alex brought it all together with this beautiful idea of Medea. And what's been really fun, I think, is watching people grow at Merit from a culinary standpoint. Whether you like it or not, you start to learn how to cook, or you start to put things together and think about ingredients differently when you're here. And he started to really look at like things that he grew up with and nostalgic foods and nostalgic flavors as something that you can translate into a beer. Because at the end of the day, it needs to be something that you have to drink, but doesn't mean you can't recreate flavors in a different way, which is kind of where our international sausage game comes from as well. It's a format, right? We see it as a German style, but the Germans learned it from someone too. And I think it's just a way to present flavors that might change someone's opinion on what a sausage actually is. And that's kind of our take on beer too, is that in culinary, you can innovate and create fusion and do whatever you want, as long as you're showing appreciation, in my opinion, and explaining why and where you're coming from, if that isn't your culture to begin with. But with beer, everything that's not traditional is kind of questioned, and then you get put into a category of hype or modern, or the opposite of like old and run out. But like creativity is kind of one of the tools for a brewer. And sometimes that can be questioned because there's such a weird tradition in what we think is beer, which most of the history that we were told and that we're taught on commercials is wrong anyway. So like, why not continue down that path of creativity? If someone, haters gonna hate, I guess, like, I don't know, but yeah. Sorry, that was I got on a tangent there, but
no, it's perfect. I think that was super well said.
Yeah, dude. No, I love that. And it's sort of like you basically really like letting your team express their culture, and they're like, hey man, I like eating this thing. We could probably make that as a beer. Like, hell yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't have thought of that on your own. Almost guaranteed you wouldn't have put those ingredients
together.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
And boom.
Yeah.
And now I think about that cake every freaking week.
Did you get to try it and then you kind of like made it from there?
The cake.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Alex brought it in a couple times, and it was really fun to see him because it was like the start of his cooking and like trying new things in the kitchen. So
Cool.
he would bring it in a couple times, and like from the start to finish, it was really cool to see him progress on just that recipe alone, and then be like, okay, at least we know like these flavors are what you want, so let's go from there. And then he was like, no, I gotta have you like try this as the way I would remember it, and
Nice.
that was really cool to be a part of that process. I think the best way is just to get the hell out of the way, like find the people that know what they're doing, and I hope you can do some too, but like just get out of the way of everyone's talent.
Yeah. And I love that because there is this thing where you can be diverse, right? And diverse is like, hey, this black guy's here or something like that, right?
Yeah,
and then there's inclusion, which is what we're thinking and focusing on more. And that's a prime example of what that looks like. And that means, like, I'm sure he's super thrilled to see something that he loved all his life out there. You have somebody like me, I come in, I'm like so excited and stuff like that. I don't get those experiences often. That's probably why it stood out to me. I can't even say I get those experiences period anywhere, generally speaking. So
True.
unless I'm in a Jamaican restaurant
beer.
or something. I definitely don't get that in beer, So to have that, it was just like so cool, Even the sausage is spicy. I still ordered anyways. I don't like spicy food. I'm the worst Jamaican ever. But it felt so good and it felt just so cool, for me. And I think that's probably the same emotion that anyone will share. And then that's what makes people feel good and make them come back and feel like, oh, this is a place where I feel welcome to, because it's not like inside a lot of the stuff. I'm not a rock person, so there's a lot of like rock stuff that comes up. I don't really understand it. It's like you're in a place with inside jokes, but that like expands it more, that you feel like you're actually involved, included, and seen, and it's very important. So I love that about you guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
What was the community and the customers' response to whether it's that specific beer or any of the beers that may be a little left of center of what people would typically expect from craft brewery in Ontario in
I was curious about that too.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, does anyone say anything about it?
Yeah, so that question applies to both the beers and then the food. Like, is there any anecdotes about that? Like, I guess and I'm saying that to say, like, maybe other breweries might be like, yeah, but if we go and do that, would people even like it? Or would they be like, what the hell is this? Like, maybe you could sort of paint that picture. Well, customers actually said, what does that look like?
I think whatever you do, and as much as you try and communicate to your customers are usually wrong,
Hey, that is not the corporate answer, okay, Spinney?
I know.
You get to say that when you're the owner,
I know, right?
If you're standing behind something, you're going to get pushback. Whether it's a sausage that tastes like buttered chicken, or it's standing behind something you believe. And I think as long as you stand up for what it is you're doing and you believe in it, and you're doing it for the right reasons, then it's easy to communicate to your staff and your customers what it is. I think the creativity side of it comes from making sure that you're choosing those flavors and those things that can translate well into that product, right? Like, at the end of the day, it is a product. A lot of us see it as art, or I like to think of it as temporary consumable art. It's not. It's culinary, but it's not culinary. It's just beer in a glass, and you can enjoy it in 2 sips. You can enjoy it for 20 minutes, but regardless, it's still a consumable, and it needs to either relate to someone or make someone think, or just like fill in a gap, and if it doesn't, then hopefully you like something else too. And that's why we have so many different beers. But I think you have to connect. There's the reason why we make beers. It's the right reason why we make so many beers. It's like, oh, I don't like beer. I don't like cheese. I'm like, well, there's a cheese probably for you. Or if you don't like vegetables, I'm like, I don't like vegetables. Like, well, okay, I like that. Like, from cucumbers to red peppers to like a celeriac, like those are all different things. You're telling me you don't like any vegetable? Like, come on, that's silly. And I see that as a challenge. I see that as a goal, and as like a chef / like brewer, I love that challenge. I love not only convincing someone that something is good, and it's not like, if you don't like it, that's okay. We have cider and we have wine and we have seltzer and tap water too, but usually we make beer out of it. We're gonna try to find something and make you feel comfortable doing it while you're here, because this is our home. I think opening Merit, one thing that I learned, and it's still one of my favorite sentences or things to say, is you never grow old around the dinner table. Think about it, right? Whether you're 4 years old eating with your family or with your mom or your dad or your siblings, if you have siblings, and then you get older and, you start to enjoy holidays and different seasons. And no matter how old you are, you're always young around the table, because it's always the same experience, or it should be a joyful experience, and it should be welcoming and fulfilling and nurturing. And I think those things are truly the most fun and the most enjoyable things you can do is eat, drink, and be merry or around the dinner table. And, it's true. And whether you're 70 or 4, it's an enjoyable experience. And that's the goal, whether someone wants to rain on your parade or not. I think as long as you stand behind your standards and what you're doing, someone will believe in you, I think. I hope anyways. As long as it's good.
Yeah, as long as the intention is good there too, right? That's super important as well. So it's like, and I think that's kind of what you touched on before, and that's the appropriation versus appreciation. That's super important too. So you're not just like, hey man, we got patties and whatever. So we made a thing. It's like, obviously it comes from somewhere. There's somebody there that's also kind of vetting it or leading it in a way too. So I think that's all super important too. And that's transparent. You always feel when things are like weird and fake and stuff like that. Yeah.
Felt anything but authentic when we came
100%. And if someone doesn't like something because it's like a different culture and it's different, you're just like a weirdo and you have a bland palate or something like that. That's so bizarre.
Yeah, that's your fault.
Yeah, I never think about that. Yeah, exactly. Just straight with a spoon.
That's funny. Yeah. Sometimes my mom
gets ketchup
too spicy, but I don't know.
Oh my gosh, jeez. Because I was like, we just love eating and stuff, so we're just like, and we love different foods. So like, if we see something, we're like, ooh, let's try this. Let's try that. Yeah.
So, but really, what you're doing though, and maybe it's not even the intention, it's just expanding maybe the minds and the palates of drinkers just by having these offerings. Because I imagine when people pull up to the bar, they might not even look at the name. They might not even they see the name of patois, a name in patois that obviously we were familiar with because we were familiar with Jamaican culture. We're like, that drew our attention. But if you're just someone who just rocked up to a bar, you don't know anything about it, you're like, oh, that's interesting. A beer that's got this, and this. Okay, let's try that. Like, I would imagine most people would, because it's not like you, for lack of a better word, like shoving it down anyone's throat type of thing. It's just more like, this is here. This is our white IPA with Indian spices. This is our. It was a stout, wasn't it? The Jamaican.
It was like a sour.
A sour.
No, it was a sour. Yeah. It was a kettle sour with strawberry puree and ginger and coconut.
Sick. So, on paper, like, people wouldn't know that it's, I mean, you're introducing. It's almost like the way that you're presenting these products as well as the sausage. Obviously, the sausages is maybe a little more obvious because like jerk chicken or like butter chicken or here's a Korean like kimchi, whatever. Like, it's more obvious that it's a cultural based product. But I don't really know anyone who only eats one culture food. Like, everyone's like, let's go for Chinese, let's go for Indian, let's go for Malaysian, let's do whatever. Everyone eats everything for the most part. But yeah, I think it's just cool in the beer side itself that it's introducing people to different products and different sort of maybe concepts of what beer could be. Yeah, which is super valuable, and it's probably more valuable than maybe most people realize. That it's like, we need to expand palates and expand minds.
Yeah,
through doing
that. Even when you're talking about product. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh. Go ahead. No, yeah, I was gonna say diversity in that product range is cool because you mentioned in the end they're products too. So it's like you just don't have to keep making the same thing. It gives you also the opportunity to have fun and like
fun for you as a brewer.
Yeah,
and like you said, like a chef brewer type.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think filling your tummy is easy. I hope not for everyone. So that I don't mean that lightly, but if you're, if you can learn something or like fill your mind at the same time, that's pretty cool too, right? Like
sure.
if you can learn something, and I think culinary is a great way to connect everyone together because we all eat the same, whether it's we all eat bread, we all eat crackers. There's different formats and different ways of doing it, but I think it's fantastic to learn everyone's way of doing it. And
Yeah,
I like to
unless you're
think,
keto.
Instead of like opening my mouth,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, then,
unless you're keto, and then that just sucks.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. It's awful.
That's your fault. You should have bread. Bread's fucking dope.
Yeah. Bread is lit.
I think the idea too is like closing gaps. Connecting. So like one of my favorite things at Merit is teaching the chefs and teaching other brewers and kind of growing with like, we ferment barley water essentially, but it's very similar. Yogurt, it's similar to that. Cheese, wine, spirits,
Sourdough.
Everything ferments in the same way, just using and harnessing different bacteria and yeast. And when you let it go too long, it turns into vinegar, and then it breaks down into just decomposing rot, right? Like it's my job, it's everyone else's job to stop it in different processes to make sure that we can consume it for what it is and what we've enjoyed. But if you can connect those dots and start to break those barriers and be like, hey, yeah, actually, like we do the same thing, but with this, and that creates alcohol, but this makes cheese. And like, I don't know. I think it's very fascinating once you start falling down that rabbit hole, then you can really start to break down those barriers even more. So,
Yeah. We're eating a lot of fermented foods and stuff and drinks. Didn't really think about that.
Almost everything.
Yeah, when you say it, it was like everything you mentioned. I'm like, that's like a regular day in the life or something.
Yeah.
So that's like very interesting.
Good for the old gut.
Right?
Yeah. And I guess that's what makes us again similar, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We just did a festival recently for the first time in a long time. It was a wine festival, and with wine, sometimes you get a lot of people asking you about sugar content. But one woman actually asked me about it because she was diabetic, and I was like, ooh, like she was really concerned about the sweetness. She's like, it kind of tastes sweet. I'm like, okay, well, like these beers we've actually tested because we do a lot of wine hybrid beers where we ferment and age on grapes and do all these wine techniques to beers. But when we do that, we have to actually get the beers tested in a lab because we can't really measure how much more the alcohol is going up when we add the grapes because we're adding, X amount of tons, and it's harder to calculate. So we might as well just run it through a machine and get the exact numbers for these beers. This woman was very concerned because of the sugar content, and it was very cool to be like, well, the beer is this much sugar, but what I said was sugar's for fermenting. It's not for consuming. It's for decomposing and fermenting. And she was like, no one's ever said that before. And I kept thinking about it. And I think that's really fascinating. Is like, if you can kind of open someone's mind to what can be, I think that's the best part about anything.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like I'm looking how long. I know we tried these episodes. Normally, Tiffany's like a.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be the time person, like keeping time.
We're vibing.
Which we're a little
cool.
over, but it's fine. We're enjoying.
So I wanted to ask then, as far as like any sort of initiatives, are there any other initiatives that you guys have been involved in along the lines of Link Up, whether it's any other social issue or something that, or community issue? Is there anything else you guys have been involved with that you're proud of or that it's worth sort of sharing that maybe people could take something from?
Oh my, yeah. We started kind of Merit as an idea behind a business can be more than a business. I guess I should have started with that an hour ago, but a business can be more than a business, right? Like if it's successful, then it's going to make money, and hopefully, it's the only way to keep a business alive. But to feed a community, to feed the staff in terms of like knowledge and fulfillment and happiness, that's the hardest thing you could probably do, and we are not experts at that. We have to continuously check ourselves and learn from our own mistakes, but other people's mistakes. But I think, we really want to believe in the community and do good by the community. Without the community, we are nothing. As a brew pub, we serve the local Hamilton people first, and I think regardless if we sell to Toronto and we want to do all the fancy bars wherever we go without our own home base and without our support where we are, then we're dead in the water. So, we do truly believe in that, gentrification is happening and is going to happen. That's just the reality. And back in the day, McDonald's were the epitome of gentrification, but unfortunately, I guess, breweries now are the anchor of change, and change can be scary and can be big and can bring a lot of bad. If we can be a change for that, then that's probably the most important thing that you can do in your day. I think starting from the day one, we had scholarships going in honor of my business partner's grandfather, and we still do. It's perpetual at this point. We reinvest in it every other year, but it brings I think like 12 or 15 grand annually for scholarships to first-time immigrant students at McMaster, I believe, mostly.
Nice.
We've been a part of and facilitated and built the second community fridge in Hamilton. That's recently moved due to other issues. However, being a part of that and meeting people that were in need of food daily was a very eye-opening and awakening project. It was very, very interesting. We also at Merida, surrounded by 3 men's missions, 2 teen missions, the YWCA, and I think that's it right now. And then I think there's a clean needle facility being opened as well. Those are our neighbors. Those are our people. Like we have to take care of those people as much as everyone else, and without giving back and feeding people, that's you're already not doing the right thing. I think. As a restaurant, we always have surplus. As a restaurant, we always have food, and as a restaurant, we always have people to make that food. And if we can feed the city with it, then that's fantastic. If not, we're going to find other ways to be a part of it and build those people up that can do that as well.
Love that.
Perfect.
That's
amazing.
I almost felt that's like the.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's like real community, and I think that's a really beautiful thing. And it's there and it's felt. You could see it with you all that it's real. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Even like all the oranges that we peel for every beer right now, we've got 6 boxes in our fridge that we're half done peeling. We bring that over to the Living Rock Teen Mission. It's literally half a block away, and we've given them so much fruit over the years that they invested in a juicer, so they can give out fresh juice and things like that. It's like,
that's
man,
cool.
that's like that melts your heart. It feels good. It feels really nice to do a little bit, and if you can do a lot, then that's great too. But any bit helps and any bit counts for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
That's the attitude. And that's essentially what we're trying to promote here too. And it's really well said, bro. That's perfect. I love it.
Thank you.
Was there any go on.
Anyone who wants to talk about it, I'm always open. I always got an email address, more than happy to share our philosophy on it. And we're still learning and growing and changing every day, and we don't know everything, that's for sure. If you admit you don't know everything and you can be wrong, that's the start.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
A man who knows nothing. A man who knows something knows that he knows nothing at all.
There you go.
There you go. It's actually, so I know it's a legit quote, but Erykah Badu says it in Erykah Badu says it in one of her tracks.
It's on and on.
Yeah, on and on.
Classic.
But like that's an actual like some quote from something legitimate, and I think that's actually the best thing is when because then you're open to everything. When you're not in this closed-minded, like we're doing it right, we got it all locked down. Like then you actually get to open yourself up. You actually get to hear your employees say, "Oh my gosh, I used to eat this cake," and you're like, "Cool, let's try that out." Like you get that right. You get open to the whole world, and that's so important. And I know for sure, like anyone who came in like me at your place feels good. They feel excited. They're happy, and I'm sure like someone who's of Indian descent, someone who saw the Korean sausage, any of these things that make you feel like, oh, I'm in here too, is awesome. So that's really priceless, and I feel like that builds this. It helps you build a community of paying customers that also allows you to end up helping the community who can't afford a beer, for example, and that's a good cycle. Really good cycle for us to be in. Yeah,
I love it. But you're a legend. This is great.
Awesome. We'll do a longer podcast.
Yes, we
let them know.
definitely need I think we should be
This is
around.
one of our longest ones.
Yeah, definitely for link up.
For
This
link up,
is-
yeah, because I'm always like 30
We should've
minutes.
did-
All
we
right,
should've flipped
35. I know. No, we got a lot to
Thumbs
talk
up,
about.
thumbs up.
I'm totally doing that podcast. I'm totally joining that
Yes,
podcast.
we'll definitely talk about that and set that up. But
Yeah.
for the link up, dude, thank you again. It's been an honor to have you guys as a part of link up. Like you said,
Yeah.
you know, it just made sense from time.
Yeah.
So we were super stoked how down you guys were to get involved and to sort of, you know, throw the team behind it and who already are living this mission. So for us, that's really important. So thank you again for that.
Yeah.
The beer is phenomenal. Like the body on this thing, I didn't really comment on it as we were going. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. This is
I was trying to save up some for what
fantastic.
I was eating, but like,
Yeah, I
I'm
just
pretty
crushed
low
it.
now. Yeah,
We
I
got-
know.
we got
yours.
more.
I
We
know.
can put some in.
Yeah, more? I can send more over. If you
Look at that, see?
Yeah.
Spinny's got you. Don't worry, your dinner sorted.
I'll drive over. I'll bring
Right
some
now.
over.
All right, we're good. You want some of
Appreciate
the,
it, appreciate it,
What's the
yeah.
sauce you want?
Oh,
Come on.
well, the curry mayo, I'm over there.
Curry
I
mayo?
know. I told you I owe you. I got
You're
it.
so funny.
It's
No,
so
I
good.
appreciate it.
We're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna take the thumbnail real quick. Do you want to hold
Yeah.
up the can, bro? Make sure you can see it. There we go.
Beautiful with
Glorious.
that light. Yeah, with
Yeah,
that
right?
light shining. Hold on, am I? Yeah, I'm
There you go.
facing.
You
There you
look at
go.
the camera. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Stick around offline, and we'll finish up there. But Spinny, where can everybody find Merit online and in real life?
Yeah, we sell at meritbrewing.ca online, and it's always open. There's no lineups. You don't even have to wait. You can just click on things. And then at 107 James Street North, downtown Hamilton, just around this corner from Old Cops Coliseum. We are open usually between like 12 and 11. Our hours vary. Google that stuff, but 12 o'clock is like our hard open. Retail shop, bottle shop, and pints right there. Sausage, everything. We can to go, stay there, whatever you want. Come on by.
Boom. And it's at Merit Brewing on Instagram and all the socials, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah.
Boom. Love it.
Beautiful.
Bloke, you're a legend. Like I said, stick around off. We'll wrap up off air, but thank you again. This was a
Thank
genuine
you.
pleasure. Lots of gems dropped in this one, so hopefully everyone watching and listening, you got a little something out of it. And if you're a brewery, hopefully you can take a little page out of Merit's book and, get your community involved and get behind it. And, let's get more people involved in beer.
Yeah.
Thank you again, bro. Everybody, thank you for watching and listening. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us everywhere at BAOS Podcast. And check out the long form audio. We drop every Wednesday. Spotify, Apple Podcast. You know the vibes. Chuck us a little 5-star rating if you feel the vibes. Do it for Aaron. Do it for Aaron. He'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
And we'll see you in the final episode of Link Up.